Hi, welcome back to another Insider, and today we start this month of July with another very interesting topic related to the Portuguese language and what is being done to the Portuguese language. I am going to explain what it's really going on and why why it's so wrong. So come with me and let's talk about the Portuguese language. So let's talk about the Portuguese language and establishing the reason why a lot of people, from linguists, lawyers, doctors, nurses, general citizens of Portugal and Brazil and other countries, other Portuguese-speaking countries, are against this and feel so wrong about the Orthographic Agreement 1990. So, the Portuguese language is spoken around the world, and more than 300,000 people are Portuguese native speakers, from Portugal, where it originated from, to Brazil, Africa, Asia, adding layers of cultural value and diversity to this secular language. It's amazing, I would say. In terms of population, Portugal is the fourth biggest Portuguese-speaking country, with approximately 10.5 million people. Brazil comes first with approximately 212 million people, followed by Angola with approximately 39 million and Mozambique with approximately 35 million people. This means that 70% of Portuguese speakers are from Brazil. But does this mean we should abolish the main language or any other variant and start speaking its variant? What do you think? Let's see. One of the arguments the Portuguese government put forward for the abhorrent Orthographic Agreement 1919 was that it would unify the language. I know, it's absurd. You must be screaming. All my English-speaking viewers must be screaming at the screen now. To unify the language and make it simple. Really? Not really. Every Portuguese-speaking country had its complexity, nuance, diversity, culture to their own variants, which is the normal evolution of a language that spreads out to other countries. It's a given. It happens to all of them, which in time became part of their identity. So all of these new nuances, cultural traces, everything that was brought up by all these other countries, Angola, Mozambique, Brazil, Macau, Cape Verde, all of them brought their own culture into the language of their own country, which was Portuguese. So, and the same happened with Portugal. Portugal also evolved, and the language evolved as well. So it was something very normal, very actually something to be celebrated, not to be squashed like this. So it's something that doesn't make sense at all. Unifying the language would remove all that and would be cultural vandalism. Well, it is cultural vandalism because that's exactly what the Portuguese government has done. Slowly, Portugal has been deleted from Google searches, websites, and everywhere you go, the Portuguese language is represented by the Brazilian flag, even when that website is not from Brazil or specific for a Brazilian audience. Non-Portuguese speakers who might already been confused between the two variants, and I know this confusion is real because I work with this language every day, get more confused or start thinking Portugal and Brazil are the same thing. They are not. They are two different countries in two different continents with their very own rich culture. Amazing peoples, and they deserve that diversity to be celebrated, not erased, not hidden, not unified. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. This absurdity has damaged the language and is affecting the younger generations of Portuguese citizens. The children do not learn the real Portuguese. They don't read and write correctly. They are confused because it doesn't make sense to them, and this vandalism is killing the Portuguese culture. It does not make sense because they took away a lot of consonants that are there to open vowels. If you take them, you have to close that vowel, and the word acquires a totally different pronunciation and sometimes a totally different meaning. I have already given plenty of examples where when you take that consonant, you go towards another word that has a totally different meaning. It may make sense in Brazil because it's been used by them, by the Brazilians, for years and years and years and centuries, and that's fine. It does not make sense in Portugal, where that change have not occurred. That is the problem. That is the problem. And then when you teach children something like that, they get confused. They don't know how to write anymore because of this. It doesn't make sense to them. And this is actually killing the Portuguese culture, is killing the Portuguese language, is absurd. This is not about the language. This is about politics and corrupt politicians. Portugal and Brazil will always be connected, not just because they share the same language, but because they have very strong cultural connections. And that's something that will never go away, it will always be there. They will always be connected to each other. The same with all the other Portuguese-speaking countries. We should celebrate that connection. We should celebrate those links, those ties, not creating a wedge between them. It's ridiculous. You don't unify languages. You simply don't. A language is like a living being, and each country has the right of having its own language. It doesn't matter if it's a variant of another language or if it's a variant of a language that has been created elsewhere and spoken elsewhere. Once it becomes your national official language, it will acquire a bit of you, a bit of your country, a bit of your culture. And that means it's yours. That variant is yours. It's no one else's. And no one else should impose theirs onto you or you onto others. That's my belief. Other languages didn't do it. No one did, because everyone understands this is absurd. And if population numbers were a thing, well, then King Charles would be speaking with an American accent. Can you imagine that? Well, I don't, and I don't think anyone would. Just like for Portuguese, the USA is the most populated English-speaking country, with approximately 340 million people. That is more than the total Portuguese-speaking population, actually, just in one country. The UK comes second with approximately 69 million people, followed by Canada with 41 million and Australia with 28 million. In terms of population, the United States is definitely the dominant country. We know that. But they did not claim that dominance, nor the British allowed it. Instead, there is respect for all countries and cultures and the diversity they brought to the language and the diversity it created. That is the main thing. We all understand each other. No one complains, and each country speaks the variant that reflects them, not the dominant or more populated one, because that does not make sense. And the US could arguably claim that dominance, since their culture and cultural influence is present not only in all the other English-speaking countries, but elsewhere, everywhere. The United States have a cultural, gastronomical, you name it, influence everywhere in the world. We all watch American movies. We all watch American series. We all are immersed or exposed to American culture. We all are, and sometimes I remember, for example, when I learned English at school, I learned British English, but because I was watching TV and most of the series and movies, etc., were in American English, I ended up with a very strong American accent. And so it's really, their influence is present everywhere. So they could arguably say, oh, well, we dominate, so we should speak our English. But they don't. They didn't. They don't. Because they know it would be invading those countries' culture and language. They understand that. Everyone understands that. So why did Portugal allow something like this? Why did the Portuguese government did this? Or think this is right? I don't blame Brazil. I've said this many times and I repeat here. I don't blame Brazil. First of all, and as I also mentioned, there is a lot of Brazilian citizens that are against it and oppose it. I don't blame Brazil. Even if they have tried it, it should have been the Portuguese government's duty to defend their culture and their people. It's their duty of care. So I don't blame other countries. I don't blame Brazil for it. I blame the Portuguese. I blame the politicians of Portugal, successive governments, not just one. Other governments did. Other Portuguese-speaking countries refuse to adopt such a thing. They did not apply this absurdity. In reality, only Portugal really was the one that applied it. My question is why? Why vandalizing your own culture? Why, Mr. President? Why, Mr. Prime Minister? Why, teachers? Yes, teachers. I believe the teachers would have had or have a very important role in this, because they were the ones that were the obedient sheep into this. There was not even one single rally. There was not even one single strike or protest from teachers. Why? Why did they decide to follow something that is so damning for the country's culture and the country's people? It's absurd. I think they have the duty of care for those children in their classrooms to teach them about the culture of the country they were born in or they are living in, and teach them right. And this is not happening. So I think the teachers are as much to blame as the politicians that signed the agreement. And today I decided to bring this here because I want to create awareness for this. First of all, I want everyone to know that first, Portugal and Brazil are two different countries. Portugal speaks Portuguese, the main language, the language that was originated in its country. Brazil speaks a variant of Portuguese that is somehow different from the Portuguese that is spoken in Portugal, but that does not, and I repeat, that does not pose any problems between the countries. Absolutely no problems. They understand each other. There's a few words that are a little different. For example, for us translators, it's important to understand some things, and sometimes there is a few words that have no translation, if you like. But generally speaking, if a Portuguese go to Brazil, they will communicate with the Brazilians there. Brazilians go to Portugal and they communicate with Portuguese there. So that's not a problem. Just like Canadians, Americans, Australians, British, New Zealanders, South Africans, we all communicate with each other. Yeah, we know that some words will come a little different, but that's fine. We just know it. That's it. It's a different variant. Okay, that guy is from Australia. He speaks a little different. All good. Everyone respects each other. Everyone understands everyone. And no one is forcing King Charles to speak any other variant rather than the British, rather than the English that originated right there in his country. It's ridiculous. So this is why I brought this today, and I would like to hear your opinion on this. So for today, I hope you liked this video today. I hope I could create some awareness. I know I've been mentioning this topic for some time and talking about this several times, but I think it is important. As a Portuguese speaker, I work with the language every day. I see the damage that this is causing to the language every single day. Every single day. From TV to newspapers, social media, even, and this is what is more absurd, even the Diary of the Republic, the Diary of the Portuguese Republic. This is a document. This is a diary that is published with everything that passes Parliament, the Portuguese Parliament, every day. They themselves cannot apply the absurdity that they have created. This only comes to show that they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea of what they're doing. And even their own documents is a mess, is an absolute mess, where one paragraph is correct, the other one isn't. It's a mix of nonsense, quite frankly. It's disgusting. If you saw, and of course for my Portuguese speaking viewers, yeah, you see it and you understand it. For my non-Portuguese speakers, I wish you could see it and understand it. I have tried to give examples with words that can be similar in Portuguese and English for you guys to understand a little bit what is at stake here. But of course it's impossible to see the entirety of all of these, because this is way bigger than just the fact of taking those consonants and changing the words, etc., etc. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that were changed, and I feel that the language has been mutilated, vandalized, and Portugal has been definitely treated like rubbish, like second class. I don't even know what were they thinking, what was the Portuguese government thinking when they did this. So that's why I created this video. I would like to know your opinion. If you are a Portuguese speaking person from any of the countries, any of the CPLP countries, let me know your opinion. Let me know how is your country reacting to this. I know that a lot of people are against it in Brazil. I know, obviously, in Portugal they are. And I know that in the other CPLP countries, people are against it, so much so that a lot of them didn't even apply the orthographic agreement. So obviously, people are against it. But I would like to know your opinion firsthand. So leave me a comment below. If you also have any other topic that you would like me to discuss, just suggest down below and I will be very happy to accommodate it. But, also put a like on the video and subscribe to the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching and I'll see you next one. Have a good one. Bye!